Oh, we're
Oh,
live.
we're live.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. It's Thursday, September 19th, 2024. Yeah, welcome. Moo Man. It's a weekly crypto review, and we can't
It
do that
is.
without Moo because I'm
Oh,
not a
thank you.
blockchain technologist. I'm a hobbyist, which the difference is I just really like it and got turned on to blockchain back in late 2016. And I really felt that pull to learn it. I found it
Sure.
so fascinating. So
Me
that's
too.
why I'm here. And I think the best idea I had was to get together a group of people and have what's called a hobby channel. Because you and I both remember 5 years ago how many people were being led around by a very small group of know nothing, no talents who were
I
just
agree.
wasting people's time, money, energy. And every single thing, it seemed like once somebody got over like 20,000 subscribers or something, they just began like selling shit to people instead of that became their priority instead of, doing the right thing and getting the proper feedback and looking into stuff. And I got a little bit of extra something, something, but it seems to work more on point when it comes to Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson, Nigel Farage, like the political stuff. But cryptos, I got the story of cryptos, but it's getting kind of crazy now, Moo, when I saw this stuff about Polkadot. Because remember how like staunch I was even on Reef. Like Reef is 4 times what it was a month ago when I'm like, yeah,
Good.
no, I'm still hanging in there.
That's great. And even with some of the liquidity being drained out of Reef. So if you guys are in Reef, I mean, you guys must be doing well. So that's awesome. I got a couple winners myself. So I think that's wonderful. I think the era we're going into, I think this market's going to pump pretty hard. Um, the Apple OMC meeting. You know what? One day we're going to have to do mean tweets. People comment really strange things. So if you guys are out there on YouTube, you see this on YouTube, please don't fall for any kind of weirdness. People posting things. I met Mr. X and he made me $1 million, and I know this person and she made me $1 million. And hey, I really like what you guys are talking about. But check out this XY, Z123 crap token. So be careful about that. I've even seen some people we used to know, posting some really strange things. So, you know what, guys? I think we're about to move into a wonderful market. I think you should be in the best stuff you can. I'll leave that up to you to determine what that is. And I'm excited, man. Yeah, I'll stop there. But I'm
Yeah.
excited about, where the market's going. So
Bitcoin
just
at
be careful, though.
62,000.
Yeah, it's great,
But you're
right?
right.
63 right now, right?
Yeah. Going
Yeah,
nuts. I love
yeah,
it.
it's
I love it
terrific.
because then we know what happens. I mean, all the money coming in without Bitcoin doing well, Ethereum's not going to do as well, and the other ones aren't going to do as well. So
Yeah.
it is the key. I think that we're there now. I thought that it would be earlier. We didn't make it to the 3 trillion mark
Hmm.
exactly back in April. We made it to like 2.85 on CoinGecko.
Hmm.
But again, you don't know which ones are going to go. Like you can't guess. It doesn't really seem to make any sense. But now I feel like we're sailing into an era of cryptocurrencies and blockchain where there are a number of winners,
Yes.
but that there will be more. Right now, the prices do not reflect the amount of activity and commitment that different people have who are top developers and investors in different cryptocurrencies. And I feel like that's going to come to fruition. Like we're really going to find out in the next 12 months which ones are the crap coins and which ones are the ones that people are like. It's right now it makes no sense like that anything is where it is, right? But it's going to start becoming clearer and clearer. So like, I mean, as we've been saying for a long time, I mean, get ready to press the sell button and stair step out unless your goal was to hold on to the very like what you thought was the very top. Or some people are like, oh, I'm going to hold to 100 trillion. Well, I'm going to stay in the market until 100 trillion, but I think my portfolio will probably look very different, 3 or 4 years from now. So that's what I have to say about that. What will it look like? Well, I mean, we can guess. That's how we have some fun here, like me just
We
blabbing
do.
stuff. And that's how some of this stuff comes out. Like I blabbed about how Barron Trump was the one that talked his dad into doing the 180 on cryptos. And I blabbed that like a few months ago or back in August. And now it's come out that Barron Trump was the one that. So we have that clip where I said Barron talked his dad into it, but look for something to be led by Don Jr., and that's that World Finance coin.
Yeah.
Did you listen to them live being interviewed by, is it Farouk? He does a crypto channel.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Farouk quite a bit. A lot of us knew Farouk way back in the day. So, I was aware of the World Finance token, when they applied for a trademark in, late July. So it was obvious that the Trump boys, two of them definitely, and potentially three, were going to be involved, with that project. Now that project's got, it took some code from a different project, and I'm sure people are a little worried about that. But I actually think it's great. The only thing I see is more traditional finance coming into DeFi, more traditional finance coming into RWA, meaning real world assets. So this is a big deal, and it's going to be a big deal moving into the future. So anyway, I'm seeing more tokenized assets. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I think if people have been listening or they're part of, one of our discords, they're already aware of this. So it's probably just the people listening to us on YouTube, that this seems shocking, but it shouldn't be shocking at all. We've been talking about these things for months and years. So anyway, I'm excited. I think sky's the limit. So, yeah, anyway, it's kind of, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm going to have a little bit more coffee. Cheers. And why don't we go ahead and get started? We got to have a whole bunch of questions. If you guys got some questions, go ahead and put them over on the right-hand side, and we'll take a look. This one's about Star Atlas and XRP from Neonite. So, hello, Sam and Moo. Thanks for all you do. Just wanted to blab on Star Atlas and XRP over the next 6 months. Thank you.
Let's see. Well, Star Atlas, I feel like it's going to do better than Axie Infinity. Obviously, it's one of those ones not being reflected in price.
Yep.
But once they do it seems that with cryptos, things go through the cycles. And with me, rather than guessing, I would just rather place my bets and then buy and hold it. And then the projects that I feel like, maybe there's not as much activity on there, or things aren't working out like I thought, or it's going to take a little bit longer, or hey, I have too many coins, I need to streamline, right? It's okay if these other ones go up, because I know these ones for sure are going to go up and be on projects that people are involved in. So Star Atlas is one of those ones that, just like with Reef, it's like Star Atlas is like the game, the game that I like, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was another one that
it
you
has
talked
a lot of
about.
potential.
Yes, it has a lot of potential. There was another one that you were talking about too that's fairly new. You said it was the best one you ever liked, and
a lot of us that are traditional gamers, it's one of the best games we've ever played. It's called Off the Grid, and it runs on the Avalanche blockchain, and it's available through Sony PlayStation. Sony's doing a bunch of stuff in crypto these days, which is great. They own a bank. They're building an L2. They're doing a whole bunch of stuff. So that's great. It's obvious that they're all in on blockchain technology, NFTs, Web3. There's so many things I could say, but I'm afraid to say too much. Anyway, they're doing really cool things. So yeah, that game called Off the Grid runs on Avalanche, and a lot of us just love it. It's great. A lot of us are choosing on the weekends, if we get some time. I'm very busy, but if we get some time, we're choosing to play that game over any other game, just because it's so good. So other people should join the Pioneers program. I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm just speaking to people that maybe play games. It's a damn good game. So come play. So yeah.
Yeah. And my son, he plays on Sony PlayStation a lot. He likes Madden. Yeah. That's his favorite one. But I'm going to try to get him to try the Off the Grid, because I wanted to mention that one, because you can see I'm riding my horse named Avalanche back here. There's Avalanches written across the chest. That was a few years ago. Sweet. You were the one who brought Avalanche up many years ago. And it was one of those bing, bing, bing. Yay, I like that. And, it's one of, so.
It's really done well for us, I think.
Yeah, it's one of my choices for this run. Solana and Avalanche, again. But we have some more stuff like Near and Phantom. Those are still, favorites of mine. But yeah, we wanted to blab about Star Atlas. I'm still holding that one. I'm holding out hope that they're going to do very well. And XRP, I did sell that a little while ago, and that was just to put into Chainlink to streamline, because I'm just tired. I'm tired of the BS. I don't hold a whole lot about it. So it was like 25,000 XRP. It wasn't the end of the world. I mean, I made
Sure.
money. My DCA on it was like 20 or 22 cents. But again, I was much more willing to release that than, for example, Stellar is a real world assets coin, and I don't, another one that I don't feel has reflected its value. Do I think XRP is going to go down and go away? No, absolutely not. I mean, it's going to have a function in blockchain. I just, I'm just when one of the guys who it always comes up on X, and he's always putting some sort of BS tweet out there to pump XRP. I finally pressed the block this guy's posts, and then I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of that crap.
Yeah, man.
I'm
Me
protesting.
too.
I'm just getting rid of it because I don't like. I mean, being on a hobby channel, we do have new people who come along who are brand new to
We do.
crypto and are like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've already been fleeced a few times, so now I'm not going to get involved in groups that are all, all we're all going on network chain. That's what we're going to do. Oh, network chain, that's the future. You know what? I don't that there's no network chain as far as I know. I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity cost that was lost for people that were stuck in something like, and I could name several, but
Yeah.
I'm not bashing XRP. I think it will have a future, but Crypto G-Man says, XRP, too much hype, sold mine for Sui. I'm already up 90% after the move. So, there's better places, and people just have to make that decision for themselves. And I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I love that you're up 80%, Crypto G-Man. That's awesome. That's great. If you guys got a question, go ahead and put it in the right-hand side. I think we should go ahead and take the temperature of the markets here real quick. Just give me a sec here, Sam, and I'll resort some things. Just let me know if you can see what's happening. We got Bitcoin here at 63.1. I was hoping after the FOMC meeting that at least we would get up to 61.5, and that already occurred for the week. So I'm very happy about this. I think 63K is a great spot for us to be in. What else can we just take a look at real quick? Why don't we go down to, I don't know. Why don't we go down to Ethereum? I think Ethereum's best days are ahead of it. I know there's been lots of people bad-mouthing Ethereum, but they don't really understand all the things that Ethereum's doing. I mean, look at Cantor Fitzgerald. Look at, man, I could name so many, right? Even the horrible JP Morgan, they copied Ethereum. They're running a private version of Ethereum. So I think Ethereum's best days are ahead of it. I know people like to make fun of, Vitalik sometimes. And you know what? I don't make fun of people like that. It's just not my nature. I wait until I'm matched in size, and I hope other people do as well. But I think Ethereum's best days are ahead of it. If we take a look here, why don't we just go down to total here real quick? Oh,
Well, interesting to point
yeah,
for me to
sure.
point out is that back
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Ethereum was between 35 and 3,800, I had and when I was thinking to myself, I was thinking, oh, that's weird. When I was like, Ethereum, remember I said anything around $2,000, that's a really good price. And here it was 35, 3,800. And there was no way
Right.
anyone was thinking it was going to go near 2,000. But I was lamenting and saying, well, I wasn't getting Ethereum right at that moment because I like to buy it when it's closer to 2,000. And that's a really good
Sure.
deal. And now that it's fallen, it's like people just want to trash it. And it's like, you should be buying it. What are you talking about? What do you mean? You were buying it when it was 35 and 3,800 and looking at me like
Right.
I had two heads because I'm like, oh,
Right.
2,000 is a good price. What do you mean? It's never going to see that again. It's like, oh man, this is cryptos. We could have one more dip before we go on that. And it's just like, you're never going to see $800 for Ethereum again.
No,
Right.
never again.
So, but to see
Yeah, I
anything
don't think
close to
ever again.
2,000, I mean, I think it went to 2,200 or, I mean, I wasn't monitoring it that closely, but again, that was a fantastic buying opportunity. And I think that, there's a lot of great, a lot of people had a lot of great opportunities, and I'm not paying attention to any of that bluster about Ethereum either.
No, yeah. I mean, that's just for talking heads, right? We know how big Ethereum is going to be in the future. We understand what it is and how it's basically going to run it's the plumbing of the new financial system. So whether people want to understand that or not, that's on them. That's how I view it. Anyway, we got total here at 2.12 inside of Trading View. And if we take a look at CoinGecko, we're probably about 200. Yep, we're at 2.26 trillion. So that's kind of where we're at. Just kind of wanted to level set that on. I need to stop sharing on September 19th.
Something I was wondering is, that 2.4 to 2.7 range that I talked about way back, and then we were there forever. Like if we dipped out, it was just for like a minute, as
Hmm.
far as life goes, for like a week or a couple of days,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
down or up. And then it fell out of that range, and we went down, I think, to even 1.85 or 1.9, and people were like, Sam, I thought you said. I said, you know what? I said, I think the next time we pass through that 2.4 to 2.7, it's probably just going to keep going. This might be our last chance, I think. That's what I think. Because I tried to read the blab and I'm like, okay, what was that? I mean, there was a reason I said 2.4 to 2.7, and then it did it. But now and I thought it would be in there and then go up. But
Hmm.
I'm thinking, okay, I bet you when we look back, we'll see that the dip down for a length of time out of the 2.4, that was the marker. We're going to get up there, and then it's going to be like the wave.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many interesting things happening in crypto. We're seeing traditional finance, just barrel into things. We're seeing all sorts of, anyway, I could go on and on, but if people are part of our discords, they already know that. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not aware, come join some people like you, and where we talk about these things daily. It's very normal, right? So yeah, I think we're right at 2.12. I'm very interested to see what happens over the next couple months. I do think the fall is going to be interesting. There's so many things we could say about the election, and well, I want to be careful what I say. We're right in the beginning here, but some of the things that have been done to one of the candidates it just blows my mind. Kind of where we're at, and I turned on a mainstream news channel the other day, and I always stay away from those things because when I turn it on, I just can't believe that this is what some people are listening to. It seems so crazy to me. It seems so abstract from what I understand, what I know. It's like the
Yeah.
Energizer Bunny,
You
and I'm
can't
cool with that.
Remember the Teflon Don? Nope, it's just going to
Yeah,
get worse. They're going to
right.
try to put him in jail more and more. They're not going to be able to get him. It's going to be great. And even the blabs that I had where I said that they were going to try again, we threw that up on to X as well, saying that they would try
Yeah.
again, but no success. I said, no, he's going
Yep.
to make it in his term, because everyone's like so nervous about, are they going to kill him? Is somebody going to do something to him? And what they need to understand is they can't stop what's coming.
Well,
And they,
sometimes it just
because
has to, yeah, sometimes it's just got to get so bad that people kind of wake up to what's happening, right? And it's sad to say, but I have lots of friends in the UK, and they're just now starting to wake up to what's happening, and you know what, good for them. I want to wear, I try and wear this shirt every once in a while. Let's
yeah,
make 1984 fiction again, right? So just try and be as solid as you can and help people get across the river, help people get across the bridge. That's all you can do. So
yeah, yeah, it's not too late. Like I said months ago, remember this one? Come on over. It's not too late. Come on over to
yeah,
our side. It's okay. Once you
right.
realize that you've been lied to, taken advantage of, oh no, they wouldn't do
And
that. Oh yeah, they are doing that. Because so many folks were like, Sam, when's it going to end? Like, when's all this? I'm like, nope, not enough pain. Ratchet it down. More pain. They need more pain.
Exactly.
They need more pain.
They
And
do.
that's how you don't forget, and that's why all of these things are going to come to pass. But I'm excited not only for my American friends, but for certain parts of the world that are going to
Mhm.
survive, because the Americans are going to because you guys are responsible for, a lot of the good things that happen around the world.
I
If there's a big, I mean, the Iranians, when they have their big earthquake, I mean, how many Americans went over there with their dogs to dig some of those 40,000 people out of those buildings? The 40,000 people were killed in Iran during that huge earthquake they had years ago. Well, we were doing this, I remember, and I was like, wow, you know what? The Americans are still stepping up, even though the government or the regime of that country, is against America, because America is on the side of the Jewish people.
Yep. And we have places to be more honest and open about some of these topics and ideas. And those are our discords, right? We don't take, any kind of money from any kind of companies. We don't do, affiliate links. We don't do that stuff. So, we only support the people that are there, to learn and share. And well, let's do this. We have lots of questions, and thank you guys for putting questions over on the right hand side. We've kind of just been, just chatting back and forth. But let's hit these questions. Let's try and be concise on the answers, just to make sure we get to
Yeah.
several of them. But
And they've been
there's
they can be upvoted too, which is what
they
I really
can.
like about Crowdcast, because I don't
Yep.
really, to go through like 30 or 40 questions. It's really better just to hit the top 10 and then sort of have
Okay.
blabs from that.
Sounds great. So this one's from Will Mill. Hey, Sam and Moo. Reef has had another massive run up this week. what do you think could be behind this move? I was checking it out earlier today, and it looks like it's up about 171% for the week. So I agree with you, Will. It's doing great, and I didn't expect that. So I'm kind of taken by surprise. I don't know many people that use it, but it's obviously capturing the attention. It got dropped off a couple of exchanges, and I thought the liquidity that was kind of being pulled out of that market for Reef would be a bad thing. But apparently somebody's talking about it and somebody's buying it. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. What do you think about Reef, Sam?
Well, a lot of people ask me about Reef all the time because it's one of my quote unquote flyers, my Doze 2.0, and I started buying in at it when it was a couple of pennies. And then when it went
Right.
down to a penny or just below, then I bought some more to DCA down. Right. And then, but I was just like, yeah, I didn't put a whole lot of money in that. Like the flyers, you don't have to put a whole lot of money in it, to make a lot, like 1,500
Mm-hmm.
bucks, maybe something like that gets you plenty. So flyers, you shouldn't necessarily bet the farm. And the reason being is that,
No.
now people could be holding Reef for a couple of years. Hopefully you've been maybe staking it or something. If you've got your keys, oh, look at that go. But it was one of the ones that when I watched the interview that one of the Sam Jammers sent, that I did feel, I was like, yes, he is telling the truth. Like he is very committed to this. He is not going to just take the money. Like I'm kind of seeing his personality
Mm-hmm. He's
as
not going to pull some
he,
kind of weird rug or something.
yeah. Yeah. Well, it was like
Yeah.
when you first approached me. I mean, I really didn't know you, but when you were talking to me, I could tell that I didn't have to worry about you trying
No.
to,
Of course.
steal half of my
No.
subscribers and start your own thing, or, because some people would come in, right. And that was their intention, just to sort of
Yeah.
get involved in their crypto thing because they didn't want to build their own stuff. But you could
Sure.
tell that someone is going to be honest and put others first and not always like, I hate it when people always have an angle, right? And I didn't
Yeah,
feel you
man.
were someone who had an angle. And I was right about that because, here we are 5 years later and it's awesome. Uh, and I felt the same like with the guy at Reef, that when I was listening to him talk, I was like, you know what? He's going to do the right thing. He's going to do right by his product. Reef has his name on it. It's his name. He feels like no matter what, even if someone came along from like Optimism or Solana or like one of the bigger ones, he
Sure.
would be like, nope, I'm here with my team and we're gonna bring it for Reef. So that's why I still hold it. That's why I held Solana when everybody was saying it was gonna be going out of business because of FTX. But I mean, I just know what I know, Moo, and sometimes there's no reason for it. But it's nice to
Sure.
have you here to confirm it. And then sometimes when you're like, yeah, no, I don't want it. I don't like, and then I'm still getting the against you. And I'm like, okay, well, this must be against all
Sure.
odds because if Moo's not hearing about it, and normally I would say probably about a half of the cryptos I really like, you were the one who sort of said this one. And I'm like, oh yeah, ding, ding, ding. Right. But there's some you're
Sure.
not, you're kind of like, I don't, because you're
Sure.
blockchain, right? Be honest with me. Tell me, have you heard of it? Are people using it? But then if I'm
Right.
still compelled, then I'm like, yeah, I think I'm right.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things like this, right? I think a lot of times we do agree, sometimes we disagree, but that's like any of my good friends. When I get together with my good friends, I want to be stimulated. I want to hear new ideas. I'm not offended by ideas. I'm not threatened by ideas, especially when they're different than me. But I hold someone in high respect. Man, I want to know what they think. Um, so anyway, I hope most people do that. I hope people are not stuck in some kind of weird echo chamber where they need everything that they say to be regurgitated right back to them. Like that sounds boring to me. If we were to go out to dinner, right, and we were just say the same things back and forth, and we're not learning anything, and we're not challenging each other, like that sounds boring, right? Not that we would be mean, but if I go out with you somewhere, like I want to be stimulated. I want you to tell me something I don't know. For example. Or something maybe I haven't considered. So I hope most people do that. It's interesting to see Reef up. It's really killing it. Man, in the last 30 days, it's up. I mean, what? We're up.
It's four
You
times,
guys
I
are,
think.
yeah, 500%. So a 5X in the last. Now, listen, I understand probably a lot of people bought this and it's top. And if you bought it at its top, you're probably still hurting, right? Because, you could have bought this for 3 cents and currently it's only 0.004. So I get it. I don't use this product. There's other products I use. There's other things that I'm involved in. So I don't need this. But hey, man, if people bought this just in the last 30 days, you're up, 5x, and that's cool. I think that's wonderful. I think that's awesome. I
Yeah,
have other tokens that I'm up 5x in, so I feel
yeah, and
pretty good about
it's
it. Yeah.
and there are quite a few of them out there that have, even though
Hmm.
the market has been kind of like that, if you choose the right ones. But then when that all of that retail money and everything starts flowing in, and the other thing too is that they did cut the interest rates 0.5%, right? So like
They
I've
did
been waiting to renew my
50 basis
mortgage. I
points.
have a
Yeah.
couple of months and I was holding off. I'm like, okay, well they might have one more cut before the election, one more, maybe 0.25% or something, because again, the money printer is going burr. And that's where a lot of this money is coming from. We're going to start watching because real estate, even down here, it was one of those overheated markets. And that's why I
Yeah.
was like, oh, don't buy anything right now. It's overheated right now
Sure.
at this moment, or it was last year. Now things have
Hmm.
slowed down and that sort of thing. But you know, the money printer's going burr. Inflation is going to come back though, because I mean they don't know
It
what they're
is.
talking about. It is.
It
It's
is.
going to be
It's going to
red
come
hot.
roaring back. Yeah, it's going to come roaring back at some point. So people should, I think, in my opinion, people should take a defensive posture. People should be glad that some of their assets are going to go up, but they need to be thinking about how bad it can get because it's going to get bad, in my opinion. So you have to take the opportunities. You know, if we're playing a game, you just take the opportunities that you're given in the game. So I want to see people get more defensive. I want people to, secure things that they responsible for, things like this. So I hope people are going to use this opportunity to not think about an enormous wave coming in the future, but they use it as an opportunity to shore up the things that are important to them. So anyway, yeah, but there are good times ahead. So, but I don't want people to get so euphoric that they lose sight of what they're actually trying to do here. Right. So, anyway, I'm mumbling at this point. Let's go ahead
I
and
know.
hit this question.
I think they're gonna,
Yeah.
especially if they're over on Psychic Nerds. I think they're gonna listen to Santino this time because some
I
people
hope so.
came back, Sam, and I was like, yeah, you're gonna press the sell button this time, aren't you? I said that's
Yeah,
all
man.
that he's upset about is so many people. Well, I mean, he's not upset. He's doing his own thing, right?
He
Just
wants
as
people to
smart.
do well. He
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
people to do well.
That's what I mean. He wants to see people do well, and like I said before, people thinking they can hold it from here to here, even like I can, because I've lived with myself for over 50 years now, so
Yeah.
I know the way things work out with me, so I'm
Sure.
fine, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they can't do that. Like they got to take their profits. They're psychologically, they cannot handle that. So I hope, and
Right.
they said that they wouldn't get sucked in last time when they were in it and saw it go to 800 billion, like when we were under a trillion. Oh no, I'm not going to let that. Well, they let it happen to them again. And I understand, look, things can move quickly, but they had no excuses this time because we had from April until November.
Hmm.
You could have pressed the button. You didn't because you were greedy. Greedy got you caught, right? That was isn't that funny? That was my first moniker. Greedy get you caught, right? And I'm like,
Pretty
yeah, we
true.
all got our butts kicked, didn't we? We all got greedy. Greedy got us caught, because we're all in this together. It's like, oh, thank
Yeah.
God I wasn't the only dummy, right?
And well, you and I have made lots of mistakes, right? I think we're in a good spot in life and, with
Yeah.
money and with our investments, but you and I have made mistakes too. And everybody should just understand that you're going to make mistakes. And if you're not very good at selling, practice selling. If I'm not very good at some martial arts move or whatever, or some style of fighting, like or some piece of music, I'm just going to practice it until I get good at it. That's just normal, right? I think that's just normal behavior. If you want to be good at something, you have to practice it. Doesn't mean sell everything. Just get used to doing it. Then it doesn't seem so scary or so weird or whatever. So anyway, my God, we have so many questions here. So we're going to be concise. I'm going to shut up and you're going to answer. Okay, you ready? Here's one
Okay.
from Colorful Light. Hello, Sam and Moo. Sam, now that your Dow 42K prediction has come true, when do you see 80% drop? Question mark. The first day of fall is on Sunday. Any chance that people on the other side might defy the odds and give us a Summer of Doge cliffhanger? Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. As you know, still holding my Doge and consolidating some of my funds into Doge when it was 10 cents. So excited about that. I do think that the market is going to melt up now to over 50,000. Because, like I said, as you swim and you get closer to the beach, and I totally called the drop at around 41. And, I actually said that. It said, the blab that we picked up, the market was 34, but I called that back when it was 20,000. and you called the bottom, I think at 18,000, the
Yep.
Dow. I don't do things by Standard and Poor. I do it by the Dow. I don't have any investments. And I just want to tell Raymond in the chat, I'm sure you
Hmm.
see where the question mark button is that you can put it in, or just really upvote. I think at this point, find a
Yeah.
question and upvote it. But I would say that, you know, we're definitely going to be seeing, some huge, huge numbers coming in and on all across the board on cryptos, real estate. Just the money printer is going burr, man. And that's what I got to
And
say about that.
yeah, it's going to push a lot of assets forward. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to push a lot of assets forward. I think people need to be very careful though in thinking that they're going to go forward and up only to the right forever. They're not. And we've got a lot of
Yeah.
tough times ahead. So I hope people take advantage, of what they're given. Like the Dow right now is at what, 42, 41.9. I expect it to go up from here.
Yeah.
But people have to have their heads on a swivel. They have to see what's actually happening.
Hi everyone, today is Thursday, September 28th of 2024, and we're here for the weekly crypto review, which of course we can't have without Moo. How's it going, Moo?
Good. How are you? I'm good. It's getting
I
colder
am
at night.
3 feet off the ground. October is coming. I thought we would have hit the 3 trillion by now, but what I'm thinking is we're just going to blow past that because, your administration is, both of them are now supporting crypto. So now, I mean, I can definitely see Bitcoin hitting like beating the last all-time high by 10,000. What do you think?
Oh, I'm leery to give price predictions, but I've got this thing called the Psychic Nerds, where I feel a little bit more comfortable doing it on that platform as opposed to this, which is I'm sure this is part of this will be released as a sampler on YouTube. But I think Bitcoin's actually going to go over 100 grand. That's what I'm expecting. Very excited about that. And I think a lot of these coins, tokens, and networks are going to just go up. We've been having since the rate cut, things have really changed. Since the eclipse, things have really changed. I think people are experiencing some nice gains, some nice wins. Even things that maybe people just got into in the last 30 days, and I could name several, but I want to be careful to name them. But you know, even Phantom's doing well. AVAX is doing well. Moonwell has lost its mind. There's lots of interesting things doing well, and I expect them to continue to do well. Man, if we get another 50 basis point cut, we could, who knows? But we'll see. You think we're going to get another 50 basis point cut?
Yeah, because a while back I had said that one of the reasons that we would be going full bull by the fall,
Hmm.
like I did feel like April that we were going to hit 3 trillion. We didn't. We hit like 2.85 was the highest. But still, I mean, this was like a while ago that I was talking about that. But I said with the election coming up, the money printer's going to go burr because it's going to be it's the last desperate gasps of your corrupt administration that somehow, and the great thing about their delusion is that they have deluded themselves into thinking the race is even close, but and it's sort of like the emperor has no clothes. So even the pollsters, they know they have to cook the numbers because the lunatics who are in the media, and you see it now, they're showing their face, right? So, anyways, I
I'm
just think
spending my
that's
time
all.
making money. I'm
Yeah,
not watching the news. I'm not paying attention to the election. We're in it now. We're just beginning it now. So I think in about 15 days, probably we are truly off to the races. We'll see if the 4 year cycle holds. If it does, then we should really be off on a tear. You got liquidity being injected by the Chinese. You got gold at all time high. Almost it wants to break all time highs almost every week. It looks like so. Things are not great, but this is an opportunity for people to make some money. So I hope people are paying attention to that, building a plan, realizing they might have to change their plans a few times, things like this. So I hope people are paying attention to that stuff and not, the news, talking heads on the news.
yeah.
Who cares?
Well, one of the things about watching the media when it comes up, because I do have X, so I don't actually log into the
Hmm.
news. Now, the hurricane that's coming to Florida,
Yeah.
I do think that it is going to be a 4 and it's going to be very dangerous. And if you are anywhere in the path, I would get out of the way. Like I was in a number 3 when I lived in Panama City, and
Yeah.
that was really scary, right? And I had a brick house, when I was there. But at number four, I would, talk about changing our plans.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would definitely, be getting out of the way there. And
Me too. My
yeah,
brother lives in that area. They've already split, so
yeah,
they're already getting out of
good.
town. So yeah,
I'm just like, it's like don't become one of the ones that needs to be rescued, right? You're taking resources from people who maybe just they
yeah,
had no car, they had no means, they just, that kind of thing. So
yep,
anyways, yeah, my prayers are with all those people down there
yeah. Me too.
today as we get excited for October because we want everybody to be able to celebrate with us what's going on. And one of the things I was talking to you about in the green room was recovery of people's wallets. So a lot of people now they're getting ready because they know
Hmm.
they're not going to miss it this time. They're going to press the button. They're going to take profits, and part of that is getting access to your wallet that you just went into your laptop that you never use on the internet, and you went to open
Sure.
up your wallet. Maybe it's one that you well trade with, I guess, but now you can't. I have a couple of them. I have to. I have the seed words though, right? So I can bring them up. But some people can't find their seed words, but they did copy their private keys on one of those little externals, as you're supposed to.
Hmm.
And now that's what they have. So a lot of people don't know there is a website, there is a mechanism that you can access through the internet.
There is.
And, do you want to tell folks a little bit about that? And also,
Sure.
you do have psychic nerds, and that would be something that if some people are getting ready to do some selling off and what to do and this and that, like more day to day involvement, I would definitely recommend that they, spend the extra $30 for just even the next couple of months and just be a part of Psychic Nerds. Because I mean, I peruse the Discord rooms there, and that in itself, plus the live streams that you'll be doing. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'll be I'll be one of the people in the crowd for those.
Well, thank you. I think we do a good job over there. I think we've done a good job, keeping people together, trying to explain what's important, what's not. That mechanism you're talking about is BIP 39. Basically, those seed words are just human readable private key. That's really all it is. But the computers don't like those seed words. So you can take those seed words and you can generate, basically turn that back into something a machine understands, or you can take a private key, which is a bunch of string of numbers and letters and different things, and you can generate seed words from those. So anyway, the mechanism is called BIP39. You can do what? You can do well. You can do many things, but that private key that you have, that you can turn that into you can make 12 words out of it. You can make 24. You can make 8. I don't want to confuse people, but the mechanism people might want to look for is BIP 39, and there's many places to do that. Be careful that you're not giving those words up. If I was going to use a mechanism like that, if I had to use one, the moment that I was able to use it and generate maybe some seed words to type in somewhere or something like that, I would immediately get that stuff out, and I would never use that wallet again. So understand, sometimes people are going to have a very small window in which they can exercise and get that stuff out, but afterwards I would move that stuff to brand new wallets is what I would do, just to make sure there's no holes left behind, or people can have all sorts of weird stuff on their computers. They can have, different viruses. They can have things that scrape, when they copy and paste, all sorts of weird things. Everyone's going to be different. If people are practicing good security, they're probably fine. If they're running, specific things like antivirus and some different things, some anti-malware stuff of high quality, they're probably fine. But, some people that go through this process might be exposing basically their words, right, or their private keys open. So anyway, I think up in the tools room we have something over at Psychic Nerds. I'll put something up there, but I think maybe more importantly, people need to understand what it is, the mechanism, BIP 39, and I think even Bitcoin.com has a place to go learn about it, and probably access a GitHub where you can actually launch a program to give you a hand. So
Yeah.
anyway,
And it is really simple. I had to use it to recover my theta because
yep,
when I went on the main net, I forgot and sent it back to an ERC20 wallet. So then it was locked up and I had to use that mechanism and I was able to
yeah,
do it. So, I think that, your regular person can do it if I can do
should be okay.
it.
Yeah,
So, yeah. But don't wait until the last minute because sometimes, just
no.
like anything, it takes you a bit to figure something out. I'm sure I didn't do it as easily as you would have done it, Moo. I'm sure you've done it many times.
I've had to, yeah,
More than you can count,
unfortunately.
yes. Unfortunately for yourself and others. Oh yeah, and by the way, guys, Moo is not your personal consultant, you know.
Thank you.
So,
Get busy.
um, you can post stuff on the in the room in Psychic Nerds, like the Q&A, and you. What is great about that is that there's a lot of people of different levels in blockchain. People. There's other people who are just like Moo. There's other people who kind of are like Moo but work in a different industry. Blockchain is like finance. I can
It
tell
is.
people I'm in finance, but really my specialty is compliance,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, and
So
there's
product
lots of
compliance.
knowledgeable people up there that have been doing things a long time. A lot of us have known each other for years now. We just celebrated 4 years over at the Psychic Nerds. That's awesome. And a couple years before that, we were hanging out with you over at the Sand Jam Discord. So, anyway, there's if you've run into an issue, I'm sure somebody else has as well. So, it's nice to have a community like that where you kind of already know the people, and they'll help you out. But yeah, just understand, guys, I'm getting busy and I'm about to be very, very busy because this market's going to rip. So, Sam, why don't we go ahead? I'm going to set my coffee down. We started a little bit later today. Why don't we go ahead and just kind of jump into some of these questions, huh? Um, Let me try and just level set here real quick. Just let me know if you can see like trading view, for example. I'm showing total one at 2.2. If we go over to total market cap over at CoinGecko, we're sitting at 2.3. That's fairly normal for those to be just a little off. I think as long as you're paying attention to one, you're fine. But yeah, this is kind of where we're at, sitting at 2.2 or 2.3 trillion. And on my board, there's probably several things ripping, but I really want to get into the questions here. Yeah, Phantom, man, it just doesn't want to go away. That's great for people. I know people that actually entered in Phantom in late July, early August. So I think that's awesome. So they're doing well. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to go over to the questions and we're going to get started. I'll stop blabbing. So here we go, you guys. This is from Anmar. Will Doge reach $1 this year or next?
Oh, I think that, we're going to be, the entire market's going to be running. So, Doge, I always felt like Doge, because of its position in the market, would easily do a 10 times. Just because once, it's sort of like the TikTok situation, you know, that in particular. So I'm not saying everything's going to do 10 times. I'm just saying some will do, like your Ethereum will do really well, but it's not going to do 10 times. I mean, but again, Ethereum is more secure. I don't care what bad things people have been saying about Ethereum the last little while. I hope you were buying.
Exactly.
I can't help. I just laugh. I'm just like, thank you for being
Yeah,
such.
it's kind of, yeah, thank you is exactly right. I think it's
Thank you for
funny the
singing,
way,
Vitalik. Thank you.
yeah, I know, right? That was the bottom. I bought that day. I'm like, oh, thank you. Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
I was thinking, I was like, I bet you Boo's buying too.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah. Cal's got one here. Hey guys, you mentioned you still see Tezos being a monster. When do you see it hitting an all-time high? And any thoughts on what it could reach? Your thoughts, Moo. Thanks. I don't have
Okay.
Tezos. I don't need
Yes.
Tezos. But so that's really all I can say about it. There's been several projects, Polkadot, Tezos, that I had kind of high hopes for that just, man, they've taken a long time to kind of get going, and projects are kind of moving from those networks to other networks. But anyway, Sam, what are your thoughts? I think they're more
Yeah,
interesting than
if
what you think.
yeah, that's like I said, the big disappointment. Like for example, with Cardano, even if you want to use, examples of what was disappointing, where I was
Yeah,
disappointed with Charles Hopkinson. And because I
yeah,
don't
man.
have the best, one of the things that I learned with the grand experiment is, and now we're in part two, I call it examining the blab, right? Because I was like the pretty much the grand experiment would last for 4 years, where I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Let's just see how that works out, and it worked out pretty
Mhm.
good. But one of the things I'm not very good at is the prices and the timing. And I can see why that would be, because I mean, that would, I just to play a game, I could probably, take the entire world's wealth if I could do that. just for fun. I bet you I
Hmm.
could take all your money in 10 years just trading on the market, knowing the highs and the lows and maxing out and, shorting things and blah, blah, blah. But, just in regards to Tezos, I had felt like a long time ago that its very top would be something around the range of 400. And I don't know if that would fit, if there's a 100 trillion market. Because I was looking at, even Cardano going back to its all time high of, $3. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's, very possible for it to do it, because you have to think about the waves and waves of money coming in, and they're not going to be looking at necessarily creating brand new projects, even though they will. There's going to be brand new projects created, but there are some of these other things that are already running that are going to be they're going to be used. Now, here's the thing, right? It would have been better, for example, for someone to flip their Tezos into Avalanche, for
Yep.
example, right? Or to,
Or
that,
Solana at $12. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, something like that. But I mean, it's great to be an armchair quarterback. I mean, what a lot
Sure.
of people did instead is that they reinvested and they made sure they didn't miss out on the new stuff. And they were like, you know what? I was only into Teslas for 5 grand.
Hmm.
If that runs to even $40 or $60 later on when there's a pile on in the market and everything's going up, even the stuff that is not a project being worked on, um, then I'll sell it at that time. But they just
Hmm.
put it
Hmm.
aside because everyone has sort of that. That's why a lot of people don't want to press the sell button, because they imagine, like, literally the minute they sell it, that it starts running, and it's like you have to just get that out of your head and just
Yes.
say, listen, you know what? I'm up 4 times on this. I'm up 5 times on this. I can sell it. I mean, there's a few things that I missed on and I had to sell them where I was only up 10 times, whereas before I was up like 28 times. Ouch. But I
Yep.
mean, you just got to suck it up and move on. And, but then if you do a good hit on that, then you're like, oh, okay. But you do your research and you base it on, what's going on now at this time. Like the stuff going on with Helium Network, for example, none of that was happening like a couple of years ago, right? So, my big theme for 2024 and late 2023 was, you have to change. Well, even back in 2022, going big on Solana, that was a big decision for me because I had been big on
Sure.
Ethereum before that. So again, that's what I think about Tezos is that just like Cardano, they've fallen behind. But again, these are survivors. Um, you got to make some decisions on that, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And they're very individual decisions. Things typically are not an all in or all out. They don't have to be an all in or all out proposition. Somebody is worried about, oh man, if I sell this and it goes up, I'm going to feel weird. How about you just sell some of it then? How about you just get used to hitting the sell button sometimes, and maybe it won't feel so weird when you want to sell larger portions. I don't know. Everybody's got to figure that out for themselves. It's a skill. You just practice it, and you're not always going to be right. No one is always going to, sell the exact top or buy at the exact bottom. That's No one can do that. Yeah, no one can do that.
I can nail a hurricane 5 days ahead of time, but I can't pick the exact top. I mean, I bought Tezos at 60 cents and then it fell to 40 cents within that 2 weeks. But I mean, when you see what you see, right? That was the
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
about the grand experiment. And the thing is Tezos is still alive. Tezos, people are still working on it. It's still there. I mean, we wanted to know about like survivors, the actual things that people were still developing and working on. But I mean, if you want to use that as, I mean, Digibyte, for example, there's a chance that Jared could, raise that one from the dead, get some other developers together, or meet some guy at a Bitcoin conference and he'll really like him and say, yeah, let's use your chain, Jared. Let's resurrect Digibyte, and then we won't have any problem from the SEC either, right? So, you never know what's going to happen. It's just that it's October, gold, silver, cryptos, gold, silver, cryptos. Silver's at $32.
yeah,
Cryptos
man.
are running towards the 2.4 again, but I don't think it's going to stay in that range. I think it's going to keep going.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really excited, and yeah, I'm just excited. I
I
gotta
can
stop
tell.
saying that. Yeah. Woo. Okay.
No, I can
Big Daddy
tell.
Crypto's got one here. Hey guys, what's your current outlook on ETH moving forward? I'm a longtime holder since 2019. Was debating taking some profits, but and then he's got dot dot dot. So I don't know if you had. Oh, was there more to that question? I don't know.
No, I
Um,
don't think so.
okay. Yeah,
They're
listen,
like,
I'm not.
but, It could
Yeah,
go. And here's the thing: for me, Ethereum is more like Bitcoin, right? I just say to people, I'm like, look,
I
have
agree.
Ethereum or Bitcoin Cash. Like those are both very, solid. Put your money in there if you don't, or USDC if you wanna, or in my case USD because I have access to that.
Hmm.
But yeah, Ethereum before was more of a flyer when you were buying it. When it was again, you got Solana at 8, 12 bucks. That was like getting Ethereum at 80 or 180 bucks or 120, right? Because we did
Yeah.
the Ethereum thing. But I mean,
Hmm.
I did sort of what I do is I did like what I did with Solana, where you have such a big run in one thing. There's nothing wrong with taking a percentage of that. Like I took about 15% of my Solana,
Sure.
but I didn't want to get out of the market because I know I see that big wave coming. I'm like, oh yeah, everything's gonna go up. I'm so excited, right? And then Trump announces he's supporting crypto, and now the other guys are supporting crypto. The fiat currencies are like melting down all over the world. Gold is going up. That means, and the money printers going burr. Well, that's going to affect a lot of your home prices are going to start going up again. But cryptos, we know that's going to go up. So we know Ethereum's going to go up. Here's the thing: if you want to take off some of that and then reinvest it, I mean, I took and bought Helium, and then I also bought Helium Mobile with it. Now the Helium has done extremely well because I got in around $3.30, something around that. But again, it's more risky, right? But I'm taking a profit and I'm sort of moving it out. But it's still on the Solana blockchain, so you might want to move something out from Ethereum, but then maybe you want to choose an Ethereum blockchain project, or or maybe you want to take that and you don't have any Solana and you want to move it over to the Solana blockchain. So like I said, the
Yep.
key that I did nail it back in 2019. I said you have to spread your bets, right? Because it's a
Yeah,
horse race.
and if Big Daddy Crypto, man, if you've been in Ethereum since 2019, that means, not to put you on the spot or anybody else, but that would mean what? You could have got it for $100. It ran up to 360 something, and then it came back down to 127. So within that range, I don't know where you bought, but it's sitting right now. It's sitting at what? 26. Yeah, 26, 2,655, right? So you've already, I mean, you've done really well in it, right? If you bought in 2019. So there's nothing wrong with taking profit. Maybe it's a skill, a lesson that you need to learn right now. To just maybe there's something else you need to take care of. Maybe like Sam's saying, maybe you want to diversify into some other things. But man, you've already won. You've done really well. If you truly bought in 2019, those were your ranges. So can ETH go up? Yeah, I think ETH is going to do really well in the future, but that should never stop you from taking some profit, man. Because you know what? We're going to have down days. We're going to have days where everybody's telling you, even in this next era that we're moving into, where it's probably going to be just bonkers, right? And things are going to do really well. There will be pullback days. So, on those days that there's a pullback, it's kind of nice to just be able to go shopping and maybe get some of the other things that you've always wanted to
Yeah.
have, maybe. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
we are coming up on a time where cash is going to be king, but right now the money printer's going burr because they're lowering interest rates. So, what a wonderful position to be in after 2021 if you had taken, let's say, $100,000 in profits, for example, and see
Hmm.
where I live. They pay if you lock in for 1 year, they pay you 12%.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it is. So you're making on 100,000, you're making 12,000 a year just on your interest.
That's awesome. And I'm sure 12 grand goes a long way there, right?
Oh, it sure
From what
does
I've heard.
compared
I know a
to
lot of retirees move down there and they do
well,
quite
yeah,
well.
especially if they're drinkers, right? The liquor you can get here is unbelievable. I was like, oh my god, no wonder there's so many alcoholics who live down here. But anyways, yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that are going on in the world right now. I do feel like America is a good place to be, though. So, and with cryptos, yeah, let's bring on that next question. Let's see what's going
All
on in
right.
cryptos.
Let's do it. Kevin's got one. Hey, Sam, have had more posts on Doge? Have you had more posts on Doge? Yeah. Is it time for blast off or are we waiting longer?
Yeah, so everything is blasting off, and that would include Doge. To me, Doge is like Ethereum, to me, is more of a quote unquote, I guess, sure thing, just like Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum. But for me, like Doge is right there with Solana, right? Maybe I'm stupid, I don't know. But I do think that it can go to $1 in this run, right? And that's pretty darn good. But I have other stuff that's probably going to do 50 or 100 times. So again, I have my different categories. I already did like friggin' 7,000% on my Doge, right? I'm not trying to pig out and get more out of Doge, but I do feel it's sort of advanced now. It's more matured. It is recognized and it is loved. So, and I think the summer of Doge was because it was the summer of the Department of Government Efficiency. So I misread the summer of Doge. Of course, we're always thinking money, we're always thinking return, but Moo knows, like I do, that the prices are not reflecting the effort right now in many of the projects.
I agree. I agree. And you can just see the behavior of gold and silver to understand that we're actually in a precarious spot. Gold and silver should not be acting the way they're acting, breaking all-time highs weekly. So that should concern people. But you can't live your life in fear. It's just use the metals to tell you. It's like listening to a weather station.
Cryptos, gold, silver, cryptos. I said before, it's not going to be for the reasons that it's not going to be for good reasons that we're all going to be made wealthy, or at least make an extremely, I mean, listen, if you're 70 years old and you had $30,000 and you turned it into 300, 400,000, I mean, that's pretty awesome. That's just like a young person turning 3,000 into 30,000.
Yep.
I mean, you put that down on the right piece of real estate, and, don't do like one person I knew took their wealth and then ended up in jail. I'm like, you should have stayed in the Sam Jam. What happened? They came back. I was like, hey, what happened to you? You were gone for so long. I was in jail.
Oh,
no kidding.
I don't know why we're laughing. We shouldn't be laughing about that. But it is a funny story.
You're like, I know it is a funny story. I was like, man, I mean, I'm not laughing at his misfortune, of course. I'm just laughing that I was teasing him, saying you should have stayed, because I help people get out of the way, right? I can't stop what's happening, but I can tell you when it's time to get out the back door.
Yeah, man. Okay. Bradley's got one here. Hello, Sam and Moo. Theta now has a mobile edge node that uses Android phones. You can share your GPU and for AI and video workloads to earn T-Fuel. How do you see this tech playing out? Any updated price predictions for Theta and T-Fuel? So I'm sharing the screen. I'll pull up maybe a couple here.
Yeah. So Theta is one that I had to use the bit 39 to get my funds out.
Sure.
And I missed the first run. I'm glad I was able to help other Sam Jammers with the price, because they had heard this other medium say it was going to be $1,000, but I was like, no. I said $10 for sure. And then one person was like, do you think you could make it to 15? And I was like, oh, almost. I think maybe. And she told me that her order for $14.79 was filled, but her $15 one wasn't filled.
Okay.
So Theta's at $1.52 now. I knew it was gonna. I said, don't worry if you missed it. I went and I've been running a couple of nodes for them. So I made T-drop as well. So I just like made hay. I could have taken that money and threw it into something else, but I was like, you know what? It's gonna go back to where it was. All I'm gonna do is dig around and maybe buy Avalanche, and then it'll be the same multiple. And then what do I want to do that for? Let's just keep running this node, keep earning some T-drop. And I think the T-Fuel will definitely go up the most. I don't know how much my T-drop's going to end up being worth, but that's what you get, I think, for running the nodes. But yeah, I plan on getting completely out of Theta. That's going to be one of my 100% cash in, because my buy-in on that was like 13 cents. So 13 and a half cents. Yeah. So, and then I did the mainnet thing and got paid a lot of, I think like 40,000 T-Fuel or something. It was crazy.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Thank you for that. Here we got another one. This is Dan. Hey, Sam and Moo. Sam, can you blab on 5 top micro coins that will see a massive increase in this bull run?
Oh, wow. 5. That's a lot. How about we find one?
Okay.
All right. That's fine.
And if we're going to go to micro, man, I don't know the best way to do this. Let's do it like this. Why don't we use this bubble thingy? And hopefully we can teach people how to use this program, because you can set up your own filters, right? So it's kind of neat. Can you see my screen?
Hmm.
So right here, you can adjust this. So right now, this is just 1 through 100. This is the bubbles. These represent different coins, tokens, networks, and this is what they've done in the last week. Gala's up 20%, GRT's up 21%, SEI is up 46%, SUI's up 30%, right? But you can also adjust this. You can take a look at, if you wanted to go out on the risk curve. And listen, guys, I would be very, very, very careful about going out on the risk curve. I know that's your question, and you should do whatever the hell you want. But I would just be in good stuff and hold on and let this market just take you to the moon is what I would do. I wouldn't be trying to hit home runs and things like this unless you got everything else stored up and you're just gambling. But if we take a look at like 500 through 600, um, this is Sidus Heroes. This connects to a game. Got lots of stuff here. So I don't know what we can look at here, Sam. I don't know how micro they want to go, but we can take a look at 300 through 400. This Izzy Agalia lady. I don't even know if that's how you say her name, but she's kind of retired from music. But I did see a couple of her talks around her meme coin. She's obviously a smart business woman, and actually she came off a lot smarter than I thought she was. I think she's got a very high intelligence. But anyway, this is her meme coin, right? Or at least I think so. I don't know. This is kind of a weird picture. Maybe this is a fake one. But anyway, I think she's planning on doing something with this in the future. So anyway, um, as far as loyalty brand or whatever, building businesses and things like that. So now I feel like I'm just ranting. Do you see any here as I'm just kind of going through? I don't know
Yeah.
how micro they want to go, you know?
Yeah, I think that you know how the pups one is really big. I think there's
Sure.
going to be like a cat one that's
Okay.
really big because we
I
just
mean,
got
Turbo's
dog
done.
there and you got
Mm-hmm.
cat and it's like oh my god everything is going up. It doesn't matter. And I just to jump off of your previous
Sure.
comment
Yeah, yeah.
about everything being like it's if you are looking for $500 to turn into 50,000, of course you have to be ready for that to go to zero. And I've had a
Absolutely.
lot more cases where my 500 bucks has gone to zero, then
Mm-hmm.
it's gone to 50,000.
Yes.
Right now, there's a tremendous opportunity to get involved in, because look at that hamster, like down
Right.
100% in a
Right.
day, right?
Right.
And that's because it was probably up 100%. It's like they go like this, right? And I'm just like,
Yes.
well, I would be I'm not somebody who would take a chance with any of my money at this point where
No.
I'd be going into micro coins because there's so many that are on the higher end that you're going to be able to get like 50 or 100 times out of, on the higher
Mm-hmm.
end. But I mean, if you're looking at the meme coins kind of stood out, like the cat ones will run now, and then the dogs will run. They'll take their turns. But I would rather, get some money into, Avalanche or like Near and Phantom. Those were my faves for like this run. Still, I love Solana and Avalanche, but I always go for like the next one. Like this is okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next big one? And then even below that, my other two were Aptos and Sui. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the time period we're going into. I
Yeah.
hope people, and listen, you and I are not the crypto police. People are going to do whatever they want. And,
Yeah.
sometimes people are good and they just want to go gamble. But, I think generally we try and tell people to just be in good stuff. We're moving into the season where good stuff is going to do just fine.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go out on the risk curve.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes these low liquidity coins, you might see a price on a chart or something. Good luck getting that price. There's no liquidity there. So, it's yes, it prints that price, but you can't get that price. So, I'm wondering, why not be in Link? Why not be in, Phantom? Why not be in, Ondo? Why not be in,
Yeah. Yeah.
Maple Finance? Why not be in
Yeah.
Aave? Things like this. These are good things. They're going to do just fine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
because
think you and I
Ave,
are,
I feel
yeah,
like that would be like a $1,400 one easy. And of course,
yeah.
Kitty, she jumps on it right away. What? Which ones are 50 to 100? I'm like, you're a smart girl, yes. Like the Ondo, Phantom, Near, Aptos, Sui, like this huge like wave that's coming in. It's so big, But again, we got to have our you got to have your finger on the trigger.
You
So
do.
even if you're just happy with 25 times on some of your more high riskier ones. You have to think about how they move like this. So if you press the button, think about, you don't always have to jump from one to the other. Where a lot of people who are trading, where the money's been made is the fact that they've gone into cash and they've waited, so that when, for example, because silver and gold, like silver especially, that had a lot of downtime. So anytime you said, oh, I'm going to buy more every time it goes under 25 bucks, I mean, how many times did that happen to silver? Right. So if you
Right.
were if you were taking profits and putting money in cash and then saying every time silver gets hit for under 25, I'm going to buy some, so I'm going to take some of that cash and I'm going to buy silver. Right. You didn't go right from, the all the inflated market and all the money being, so that's another thing you got to think about as well, is that coming out into some sort of cash instruments.
Yeah, I
Get to
agree.
know your
100.
bank.
Yes, I agree.